We coming back with another episode of Chicago Blueprint, and we got Dr. Princess Lomax in the building. How you doing, Miss Lomax?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Let's tell the people a little bit about yourself and the different hats that we know you wear, because you have multiple.
Oh Lord, I be forgetting everything I do. So, as he stated, I'm Dr. Princess Lomax, born and raised on the south side of Chicago,
Shout out to the
between
east side.
Inglewood and East Side. Yeah, 76 and Essex, and 53rd and May. That was my areas. Um, Pretty much, again, growing up on the East Side and growing up in Inglewood, and I'm underprivileged, underserved areas. Grew up glamorizing the D boys, right? So growing up, I just wanted to get me a D boy and do what I do so I can shine. And then as life started taking different turns, instead of marrying the CEO, I decided I was going to be the CEO. So I've gone from being a nurse to a doctorate in nursing, on sports bars. I'm an author. I wrote a book teaching nurses how to make six figures pre-pandemic when they really wasn't making much money. Um, yeah, owning a club, a small boutique club in the West Loop area before it was popping, before it was Fulton Market. I had a club right on Randolph in Aberdeen, which was dope for a young black female. Then took it to the south suburbs, Diamond Sports Bar, where I was one of the only black young females with a sports bar. So I was running it up, and also still in school.
And you had a restaurant in Georgia, right?
Oh yeah, moved to Atlanta. Whoo, child. That's a whole nother story. Moved to Atlanta, opened up Crabs R Us. House got broken into a few times, so left Atlanta, went to Miami, met a dumbass nigga, went back to Atlanta, and now I'm back home in Chicago, where it all began.
And with the restaurant in Atlanta, you sold it, right?
I sold it to someone who was making very good money. He was making about 80 grand a month, but he was an idiot because he didn't want to pay the bills. So the liquor commissioner like, hey, you got to pay taxes or we going to cut this liquor license. And because he didn't want to pay bills, that ended that restaurant era. So
How let's just brush back over some of the stuff you were talking about. Starting off, what made you want to get into the bar industry? The first one, what was the name of the first one in the Fulton Market?
Red Kiva.
Red Kiva. Yeah, I remember going there a
Red
couple of
Kiva. It
times.
was a few different ends. First of all, I love, 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 love. Always love to party. Everybody know Princess is somewhere. Diamond Princess somewhere standing on somebody's couch having a ball. So I love to party. A few incidents happened where I was being mistreated. I'm bad sections. I'm popping bottles like these niggas out here doing, and they mistreated me. And my guy at the time was like, "You ain't going back out till I get you your own club." I was like, really? He like, yeah, I'm gonna buy you a club. So we started looking. We had a broker out there, and Red Kiva was for sale. We bought Red Kiva. It was a failing business, and I turned it into $1 million business within a couple months.
Mm.
Can we touch on your guy who you talking about?
Yeah, Greg.
Man, you
Oh,
smiling when you say that.
because he was my everything. Greg was the nigga that let Princess be Princess. He let me stand on them couches. He let me pop my shit. If I said I wanted the sky, Greg was like, let me figure out how to get to the sky to give it to you. That was Greg in a nutshell. So we co-owned Red Kiva, and Diamond Sports Bar, but he did real estate, and he was, I don't know, man. It's like anything I could ever dream of. He made it happen, and he didn't care about my background, my past. He ain't judged me for nothing. He just
Hmm.
loved me.
And how did that loss change the way you see life and purpose and time now?
It changed a lot in me. Like, I've lost a mother. I've lost a father. But losing Greg, it was different. It's like I lost a part of me. Part of me died. I didn't even know how to function for months. Like for me, it looked like staying away from everybody, and I just dived into work. So I just went to work. I was traveling and working. I just worked for like 3 months straight. Didn't even go on my own sports bar. Didn't check on my business. Didn't go on social media. I was just working initially. And then I was like, okay, I got to get back to doing what I do so I won't be super depressed. I just started back partying, and the partying just went to other levels, and I'm just outside partying, having a good time, and people like, you just lost your nigga, and a few months later you back partying. Yeah, because this is what I love to do, and this is what he want me to do. And church, going to church, getting deep into my word, but it took so much from me, and it also showed me that I didn't need nobody. You know, you go through life thinking you need this person, you think you need that person. I'm like, I don't need nothing and nobody but God, and I'm getting to the top. So it for sure changed me in that aspect.
Mm-hmm. Shout out to Greg, man. The city of Chicago lost a great one. During your grieving, many people break or rebuild. What helped you keep moving forward when stopping would have been easier?
You know what's funny is I didn't really have a lot of chance to. I didn't really get a chance to grieve. You know, when Greg got killed, he always told me, like, if something happened to me, don't have me no funeral, pack up and leave. Go to another state, don't have me no funeral, don't tell nobody, just leave. And I never understood why he was telling me this until he was murdered, right? And when he was missing, he was murdered, they found his body. He was frozen because it happened in February. And once they did the autopsy, they was like, I got a phone call, the body autopsy done, you can come get the body and do what you're gonna do with it. I get to the morgue, walk in, they like, who are you? I'm Princess Lomax. They, who you here for? I'm here for Gregory Burnett.
Mm-hmm.
And they was like, you can't claim his body. What you mean I can't claim his body? It's been my nigga for 7 years living with me.
Right.
What do you mean I can't claim his body? And they was like, oh, there's an estranged wife. I'm like, no, there's an ex-wife. They like, no, estranged. So I'm sitting there 10 minutes later. Here come his daughter mama. I guess you Princess. Bitch, I guess you Audrey. What's up? She read me for filth for about 20, 30 minutes. Read me my rights. I just sat there quietly. The Holy Spirit said, don't say nothing.
Right.
She was reading me so bad. It was a guy that was like a brother to him and a guy that was like a son to him. They looking at me like, this ain't the princess we know. She would have hit her. She would have cussed her out. You finna let this lady talk to you like that? So I let her finish. And
Right.
when she was done, I was like, you done? She said, yeah. I said, oh, okay, because we finna go view this body together. Call me every name in the book. We're viewing this body together. So we did. We viewed the body together. We shedded some tears together. I gave her his wishes. I'm like, he didn't want a service. He wanted to be cremated. Like, bitch, ain't nothing we can do now. He gone.
Exactly.
So you wanted him back? Here you go. But these are his wishes. I'm like, and this is our pastor. She was an atheist. She didn't believe in God. So she was like, well, we don't have no pastor. I said, he had a pastor. He went to church every Sunday. Here's the information if you want it. They'll come and do whatever. And
exactly.
she did end up cremating him on Valentine's Day. So the bitch broke my heart. Cremated him on Valentine's Day and then wouldn't give me his ashes.
Oh, wow.
Then 2 weeks later decided she was having a memorial but needed a picture from me. Bitch, I told you he said he didn't want to have anything, but okay, here's the picture. And then sent me a disclaimer, don't show up. I said, what do I have to show up for? if I want to have a memorial, all you need is a picture and some flowers. You didn't even have an up-to-date picture of him. I had to give you that. So that happened, and then it was like, I thought he had 2 kids, and 15 more came out the woodwork, and it was like, oh, he got 17 kids. Bitches started calling me, talking about, ooh, I'm pregnant. Ooh, I got a baby. And before I knew it, I was like, ooh, them babies gonna be bastards. Because I ain't know nothing about them then, and I don't know nothing about them now, and I ain't taking care of none of them but the 2 I knew about.
The ones you know of.
Yeah, and, it was just so I didn't really have time to technically grieve, because I was dealing with stuff that was hitting me from left and right, and I decided I was going to remember him for how he treated me and for what I had, and not for what came about once he was gone. So it was tough, but East Side of Inglewood raised me, so I wasn't breaking. I didn't break. I didn't fold. I had my moments. I cried, and anytime I thought I wanted to go into a deep depression, God was like, nah, come on, I got you.
So do you think, as a medical professional, did your clinical knowledge help you with the hurt and dealing with the personal loss and trauma?
I mean, to God be the glory. Thankfully, I took all those psych classes because, I had to talk to myself how I would talk to my patients. And because I was still working, a lot of times I found myself telling my patients that they can't stop, they can't be depressed, they got to keep going, they got to have faith, they got to find an outlet. And then I look up and be like, okay, God, I'm talking to myself. So, yeah, definitely me educating my patients, I learned to educate myself in the process. So it for sure helped me.
Okay, so let's go into a little bit of your healthcare and the nightclubs that you own. What owning a nightclub teach you about people that medicine never could?
Ooh, child. So that nightclub life, I mean, nightlife, I'm going to be honest with you. Again, I grew up glamorizing the D-boys, the 2 for 10s, the $10, and liquor, $10 a shot. This the closest I'm going to get to that drug money. So, I was like, I got to get it.
Right.
So I'm in there, I'm pushing that liquor, you meeting people, but once they get too intoxicated, it's a problem.
Yeah.
So, and being in Chicago, I for sure had to make sure I had security on the door that didn't jeopardize our safety, so they didn't accept money to let somebody in with a gun. I had friends and family that I grew up with that they started hating me because they had to get searched. You ain't coming in here with no gun.
Yeah.
You can't come in here because you ain't going to remember this Princess spot when you get drunk and somebody piss you off and now you want to shoot.
And then the liability lies upon you.
Absolutely. So it taught me that. It just taught me once people are so intoxicated, sometimes they're not going to be, you can't reason and rationale with them that moment. So that's what Greg came in a lot of times, because he really didn't drink, and he would just, okay, all right, keep people calm. And then the next day, if we had to call the person or whoever and talk to them and say, hey, you did this, this, and that, let's not do that again.
Exactly. So I know y'all probably had a lot of incidents up there at the club, but y'all knew how to defuse them.
It was honestly, when I first opened Red Kiva, me being from the South Side was hating on me. They ain't show me no love. The West Side showed me all the love. So the West Side, shout out to the West Side. They had Red Kiva popping. When I tell you it was popping, I was looking forward to them Saturday nights, because I let the promoters take the door, and I knew my little bar guarantee was making $20,000 no matter what. I was walking away with $20,000 cash in my pocket every Saturday night. And then, of course, no incidents, right, with the West Side.
Right.
The moment the South Side, now they on a bandwagon, they coming there. Tragedy happened.
Right.
Somebody got killed 2 blocks away from Red Kiva.
Wow.
And that did end up, it was a kind of forced close. They couldn't close me legally, but I'm going to tell y'all, people wonder why some of these clubs are still open after they had shootings. It's because they working with them people. They pretty much told me, like, either you going to close the doors on your own, Well, the Fed's gonna be in there every day, and you're gonna have to allow them to be in there and see what's going on in there.
Oh, wow.
What?
Whoa.
It was a big meeting downtown Chicago with some of the big heads and the police, and they looked at Greg and was like, as a matter of fact, you got a felony. Fuck up out this room. You ain't even supposed to be in here talking.
Oh, wow.
Excused him and basically told me, either you gonna close the doors or we gonna be in there. I'm from the streets. At the end of the day, I couldn't live with myself if I allowed them to be in there watching, stalking, taking pictures. You know, do what y'all gonna do, but not on my
here.
watch.
Exactly.
So closed the doors, and that ended my phase at Red Keeper.
And then you opened up.
Diamond Sports.
There you go.
Yeah, I was.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, Red Keeper closing. I was depressed. You had the haters like, that's what that bitch get. Her club gone. I was depressed, and Greg was like, nah, we ain't going out like this. We're going to get you something else. So
Right.
we took the show on the road, found a spot in the south suburbs, applied for a liquor license, got it, birthed Diamond Sports Bar. Diamond was good. Diamonds was like Cheers. You know, you could just come in and everybody know your name, and you get some good food, sit at the bar. We had our Soul Food Sunday, where I cooked all the food on Sunday, and to the point I had to go live cooking because everybody would be like, it's the old lady back there cooking, that ain't you. I'm
Right.
like, it's me.
It's me.
So I started going live to let the people know it's actually me doing the cooking. That's why we only had Soul Food on Sundays, because that was a lot for me to
Right.
be cooking. But yeah, Diamonds, the time was had.
So with you owning both of these sports bars in Chicago, what's one of the biggest misconceptions people had while you was running those clubs?
I must say, honestly, people didn't believe I owned it. Let's start there. You know, Greg had a lot of white friends, so if anytime they came to the Red Keeper or Diamonds, oh, them the real owners. They just got them in here as the face of it, making money, because, you know, that's what a lot of promoters will come in and say they own. I'm like, y'all Google liquor license and Princess Lomax.
Right.
So that was the biggest misconception. They always thought a white person owned the club and not us.
Yeah.
And then another one was they didn't respect females in that in those positions at the time.
Right.
You know, I would go to meetings and they'd be like, well, where your guy? I'm like, why he got to be here? Well, you know, we would rather sit down with him. Now I own it. This is Princess Lomax.
Right.
This is my shit. Y'all gonna talk to me. Y'all don't have to talk to
to him.
So yeah,
Wow. That's what goes on behind closed doors, huh? They don't want you ladies in power to step in through, huh?
Yeah.
So in today's medical system, what frustrates you the most about how patients, especially underserved ones, are treated in your industry?
You know, it's crazy because I started my career working downtown as a CNA at Northwestern Hospital. And unfortunately, they didn't treat us right then. They don't treat us right now. You know, working in these ERs and seeing a white lady can walk in there pregnant and they gonna take her off her feet and take her straight into the back and see about her. A black person gonna have to sit in the waiting area. They gonna think, oh, she really ain't in labor. We come in there, we in pain. They don't give us pain medications because they think we're drug seeking because we're black. And white people that come in there, I know for a fact they dope fiends. Guess what? They getting them all the good stuff. And I'm like, this the dope fiend.
Right.
But, you know, me being boisterous and speaking up, they didn't like that. So, you know, my career was short-lived at Northwestern because they like,
around what year was this Northwestern? Around what year?
2002.
Early 2000s?
Yeah,
Okay.
early 2000s. And then I ended up at Mount Sinai Hospital in the ICU. It was a lot of us over there, you know, west side of Chicago. So I can't say I saw anybody being mistreated because it was a black hospital and it was black staff.
Right.
So, but yeah, you definitely see it. University of Chicago is right in the black neighborhood. They mistreat the blacks too. You going there?
Kenwood area, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We get mistreated by our own over there.
Oh
So
wow.
it's like you damn if you do, you damn if you don't. But and definitely working the floors. You know, the white nurses, the Philippine nurses, they was able to get the good shifts. They got treated better than we did. You know, we had to show them what we was about. You know, me coming on the floor, long weave, they automatically, oh, she ain't finna do no work. And then when I come over there and run rings around them,
Right.
everybody like, oh, she know what she doing, and we can learn something from her.
Exactly.
Yeah, so you know, it was for sure stereotypical about, because one, I was young, black, and the way I looked, they thought I was lazy. They thought I went into the field just to make money.
Right.
Versus little white girls, they go into the field because they care about us. You know.
Exactly. You had a purpose.
Yeah, even with nursing schools, I went through so many nursing schools and quit and cried and failed because they was prejudiced. Rush, oh baby, them teachers basically told us, if you're not the typical white female, they didn't even like white males back then. They used to tell us they weren't passing us.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so I had to leave Rush and go to a junior college just to get a degree because they were so prejudiced. They didn't want us.
And what about some of the other degrees you got in the medical field? We know you're a doctor, so let's talk about that path.
Yeah, climbing the ladder of success, it was like I always wanted more. So I went from being a CNA to LPN, got my associates in nursing from Triton College. I had to go out west because Kenny King, Olive Harvey, they was playing with us too. They weren't even letting us in. The waiting list 3-4 years. So let me go to a private white school, Triton College over in River Grove, Illinois, and got my associate's degree. Then I got my bachelor's degree in nursing from Benedictine University. And I was like, yeah, it's not gonna stop here. I went into management and I saw that although I got this bachelor's degree, I'm black, right? They bring these white girls in here with associate's degree, and they still want them to run up. They want me to be the face, but they wanted this white girl to really run the office. And I'm like, no, okay, it's time for me to go back to school because this bachelor's degree still, I ain't getting my respect, right?
Right.
So I was like, okay, I'm going to go back. I went to Olivet University and got my Master's of Science in Nursing. I became a family nurse practitioner, got that DEA license. I was like, I did it, right? I made it, right? Wrong. They still was like, well, mistreating you, and, you know, I'm working for certain companies, and they like, well, why you keep going back to school? Why y'all keep going back to school? Why I can't want a higher degree?
Right.
What's pushing you? What's pushing you? What's motivating? Bitch, what's motivating you? I used to get offended because, you know, it was okay for the other races to go back and want a higher education. When we wanted to go back and get a higher education, it was frowned upon. They looked at us like it was something wrong. And then I had a few friends who had doctorate degrees, and after my master's, I was like, I'm done. I'm sick of these people. I'm sick of doing this, sick of doing that. And I was like, okay, overachiever, right? Let me go back to school and get this doctorate degree. And
how long did it take you to get the doctor's degree?
It took me a little longer because in the process of me being in school for that, Greg was murdered.
Okay.
So I thought I could still finish school, end up failing a class or two, took some time off, and then I went back and graduated during COVID. So I really walked across my my living room floor in Atlanta, Georgia, and that's how I ended up with a doctorate degree.
I'm glad you said Atlanta because I was finna get into that because you was practicing your doctor's degree down there too, right?
Yeah. So yeah, I originally was working for Optum United Healthcare, family nurse practitioner, seeing patients, in-home visits, and also was traveling to different states, taking over caseloads for different other EMPs. And once I got my doctorate degree, things was just different. And during COVID, I risked my life seeing these patients during COVID, and they decided they wasn't going to give me my bonus. You look forward to your bonus. It was
Exactly.
about 10, 12 grand a year. I wanted my bonus. And I found out that they wasn't not giving everybody bonuses. They wasn't giving the black folks a bonus.
Their bonuses.
The little white girls I was cool with, they was still getting a bonus.
Right.
So my ratings were exceptional. It was outstanding. I'm like, what do you mean I can't get a bonus? So because they didn't give me my bonus, I decided to quit because I loved my job. I loved seeing patients, especially the geriatric population. But I was an entrepreneur at heart, so I'm like, I don't need this job.
Right.
I had a few $100,000 sitting in the bank. I didn't have to be doing that, but I wanted to do it. So when I told them I quit, they was like, you quit? I'm like, yeah, I don't need this. I wanted to do this. I don't need y'all. So I quit, decided to go back to the entrepreneurship, opened up Crabs R Us. That's where that was birthed. And then eventually I opened up Exquisite Wellness Bar. So I had my own wellness clinic where I was doing weight loss and Botox and fillers and IV therapy. And I just took off from there, and something else birthed and made a couple M's off just having a medical spa. So it was good.
Getting that bag, huh?
Yeah, I got to get to the bag.
All right, Ms. Lomax, Dr. Lomax.
Doctor.
Let's get into your Lomax urban outreach that you got going on. Give us a little bit of what you do and what you're striving to get to, I guess, with the youth too.
Yeah, so pretty much, again, Greg was whatever I wanted to do, he like, let's do it. So, we would do annual book bag giveaways where we making sure the neighborhood kids had school supplies, real book bags, not the little play stuff.
Yeah.
We fed them, had fun. During the winter months, we making sure they got coats, clothing, just everything the kids needed. So he was like, we need to start a non-for-profit. So we started a non-for-profit. We had one, it was Lomax Urban, and the second was Red Door Development. Red Door Development was a non-for-profit. Greg and I had births, and he did construction and real estate. We was going to start bringing the kids from the inner city areas and teaching them electrical, plumbing, how to do drywall, and all of our properties was going to have red doors. So that's where the Red Door Development came from. We never quite got that up and running because, again, he was murdered. But I had the non-for-profit for all those years, was in Atlanta for 6 years, and then I was a guest, the main speaker at a women's event. And as I told my story and started telling them that I had non-for-profits, one of the young ladies said, hey, you ever got money for your non-for-profit? I'm like, no, I just do what I do for the community and out my own pocket. She was like, no, I got somebody that can help you write the grants and get you some funding. I'm like, really? She introduced me to her. At the time, this lady, her name was Tammy. She was from Chicago but lived in Atlanta.
Okay.
I met her in Buckhead, and she was like, hey, I'm going to charge you A, B, and C to do A, B, and C. I was like, okay. She was like, she sent me a link. Click on the link. I was like, no, I'm bringing you cash.
Right.
She's like, who are you? Who walks around with 6, 7, 8,000 in cash? I'm like, me. Come meet me in Buckhead. I met her, gave her the cash. She got started. Started writing a couple of grants, and I figured I would, if I won any, I would be going back and forth to Chicago. So I got an apartment, and I was like, apartment downtown. I'm like, well, I'm going to go back and forth. I can travel from Atlanta to Chicago. Plus, me having an apartment will save me from having to pay for hotels. And I ended up winning my first 2 grants.
Okay.
So they were for violence prevention for the youth in West Inglewood and New City. New City, one of the areas I grew up in, Motown, 53rd and May. So I was like, okay, now I can go back and help the kids in the area I probably helped tear down. So
exactly,
it was definitely a motivator. to come back home. And then I always said I would never move back to Chicago.
Yeah, I remember you saying that.
Yeah, I'm like, I ain't never moving back. When they broke up my house the second time, my family's like, please come back to Chicago.
Right.
Like, I could be homeless. I ain't moving back to Chicago. And then things in Atlanta just wasn't working out. So I started praying and asking God where I'm supposed to be. I had 3 other people praying for me, and all 3 of them separately came and said, God said, come back to Chicago. Ooh, child. So, December last year, I moved back, and it's been amazing since. I've been doing violence prevention in both West Inglewood and the New City area. Typically, the state grants with Illinois Department of Human Services, people normally barely can win 1.
Mm-hmm.
To God be the glory, I won 4. So it's unheard of for anybody to win this many grants your very first year. But favor ain't fair. You know, it was definitely a blessing from God. And because I won all 4 of those, I get a whole lot of slack from these white folks at the state.
But it was meant for you.
And from our brothers and sisters.
Exactly.
In the same field I'm in.
Right.
They hate, because the problem is they work for an organization. And when they say, well, Princess, who you work for?
I am the organization.
I am the organization.
Exactly.
Lomax Urban Outreach is ran, owned, operated by Dr. Princess Lomax. So it's definitely fulfilling to be able to change some lives with the youth when they see somebody that look like them, came from where they came from, talk like them, dress like them, and act like them. It motivates them.
Yep.
Now they like, whoa, you grew up over here?
You
And
went
now
here.
you got a doctorate degree? I
Yeah.
can do it too. Versus them bringing, them others into our school systems and making them feel like, they can be something. They like, you grew up with a silver spoon in your mouth. You don't know our struggles. Me, I know they struggles. I can tell the stories of mama being on crack and not knowing how I'm going to eat today and tomorrow, and daddy in the feds, and, just having to figure out how I'm going to get back and forth to school. And, I've been raising myself since I was 15. So I got a story that I tell these youngsters, and they look up to it, and it make them be like, okay, I can do it too.
Exactly.
So instead of them going out committing violence, it's like, call me. Don't stop going in that store stealing tampons. I'll buy your tampons if I have to. Because I want to keep you on the right path.
Exactly.
That's dope.
So with your urban outreach, what community issues are you most focused on solving right now, and why?
Honestly, initially it was the violence. It was keeping the violence down.
Mm-hmm.
They could say what they want to say about Chicago.
It's a beautiful city, though.
I lost my nigga to violence, but at the end of the day, the violence is down here. And it's down because you got these CVI organizations that's in our neighborhoods that's talking to the homies like, hey, don't go over there and shoot no more. What y'all need?
Mm-hmm.
They needed resources. They needed money. So we taking the guns out of their hands and giving them jobs and giving them
Trades.
things to do where they can make money. So now they can feed themselves and their families. So it's less violence in the neighborhood.
Exactly.
So outside the violence, we definitely with the youth, we had to just teach the youth civic engagement. It was simple things on how to settle things, how to everybody, you can't resort to violence for everything, right? So there's no arguing, there's no fighting. Let's talk this out. Stereotypical, our teens now, they growing up in the area where the boys looking like the girls looking like the boys. So they talking about them and bashing them and making them feel bad, and then they lashing back out. So we have to tell them everybody not gonna look like you or act like you, but everybody is still human. So learn to stop teasing and being mean. Can't be no mean girls and mean boys to the less popular kids.
Exactly.
So we just teaching them definitely some civic engagement on how to get along with themselves and with people that don't look like them.
Exactly. Ms. Lomax, so how do you balance being strong for the community while still protecting your own mental and emotional health? Because you got a lot of things going on.
The crazy thing
We see
about it
you, I'm
is,
sorry not to cut you. Every time we see you, you just got this smile on your face like nothing's bothered you. And we know you've been through a lot of stuff in your life. So, yeah, tell us about that.
the beauty of growing up the way I did is, I mean, you can cry, but you gotta wipe them tears and keep going, right? I ain't have a choice. You know, they coming out now with this soft girl era. Who the fuck is the soft girl? Where's she at? Is she in me? I don't know, cause all I ever known was to be strong, right? 15 years old, I'm trying to figure out, am I gonna go to school today, or I'm finna go out here and hustle? I'm finna get up with this nigga to figure out how I'm finna eat. So it was kind of different for me. They say if you grew up on love, you one way. If you grew up on survivor, you another way. I definitely for sure grew up and was raised on survival, but I still love.
Right.
I got a big heart. I love everybody, but I don't have a choice but to be strong. Like, it's in me. It's on me. I'm never gonna look like what I'm going through. So every time somebody see me, I'm gonna be smiling. You ain't gonna see me on social media crying. I might have had a moment or two where I cried, for Greg, and a moment or two when they broke in my house, I cried because I'm like, it must be somebody close to me. But outside of that, you ain't gonna see that. All you gonna see is a smile. I'm going through a million issues right now, but I'm still gonna show up and I'm gonna smile, because for what? I'm supposed to. And then also, I don't never want to look like what I feel like.
Exactly.
So if I get dressed up and I look good, that depression and that anxiety is going to go away. I'm going to say a prayer and I'm going to say, okay, God, I got this. I'm going to smile and I'm going to keep going. And ultimately, nobody ever know what I'm really going through, because I don't look like what I'm going through.
Exactly.
You look good now. Where you going tonight?
Actually, I came looking good for y'all, but you know how I do. I'm gonna look good anyway. I'm actually supposed to go to a black tie event after this, so yeah, I gotta go put on a long black dress and be sexy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
With the movers and shakers.
Yeah.
Don't forget your legs. It's cold out there tonight.
Oh, you see, I got that long mink, so I'm
Oh
good.
yeah, all the way to the ankles. Y'all didn't see it, but she got it all the way to the ankles. Well, let's close it out with all our listeners listening. They might be dealing with grief, transition, or re-innovation right now. So, what can you tell them about some of the things you went through, and to help them push through like you pushed through?
I'm gonna be honest. The things I've been through these last 7, 8 years is God. Oh Lord, my faith in God has increased so much. I went to church every Sunday. I tied it, but I was still out here, still doing this, still doing that. My faith in God has increased so much. It got to the point I wasn't drinking, wasn't having sex. I'm just focused on me, my mental, and God. I did do therapy. So
Therapy is real.
prayer works, but sometimes you need a therapist, right? You need somebody to be able to go back and forth with you, so you can learn how to deal with the feelings that's in your head. So I had a therapist for a while. She definitely helped me deal with Greg's death, my first therapist. I got rid of because she felt like I should have been angry at him. Once I told her the story, I was like, baby, I don't want to be angry with him. I'm gonna remember him for who he was to me, and he showed up and showed out for me. So my second therapist was like, yeah, you don't have to be angry. Just don't be. They thought I was suppressing anger. But I wasn't. So yeah, between therapy, I had people I can call in the middle of the night and just say, pray for me, before I knew how to pray for myself. And I still got a family and friends that I party with, but I really love my friends that's praying for me. Like, and I got ones that I can do both. The ones that pray for me is very, very, very important, to have you a village that can not only party with you and be happy in the good times. You got to have somebody that can pray for you and stand in the gap for you when you can't pray for yourself.
Exactly.
So I got a village, and they go hard for me because they know I'm going to go hard for them. And, you know, it ain't all about a drink. I don't drink no more. So what's next? I need you to get on your knees and pray. You ain't even got to get on your knees, because I'm not one of those, I ain't finna lie and say I get on my knees, but I pray. I became a prayer warrior. I don't care where I'm at, what I'm doing. I just start to pray for people and pray for things. And in the midst of that, God has given me a discernment. So now somebody can walk into my life and God gonna show me exactly who they is and who they not, and if they should stay or not.
Exactly.
So, you know, God, prayer, having you a village, and then just keep believing in yourself. Because if you don't believe in you, ain't nobody else gonna do it. And, you know, that inner little girl in me, if I could go back, I'll always tell her, just bet on yourself. You know, I had high school principal, what was that heifer name? Dr. Walker.
Miss Walker.
That heifer told me I wasn't graduate. I wasn't going to never be nothing. I was going to have a house full of kids. Shout out to you, bitch, because you probably the reason why I ain't got no kids now. Because you told me I was going to have a house full of kids. I wasn't going to never graduate from your high school. And look at me now. I'm sitting here as Dr. Princess Lomax. Clock that.
Well, we appreciate you coming on the show and sharing that story and your road through life and to where you at now, Miss Dr. Princess Lomax. Appreciate you for coming on.
Thanks for having me, and if y'all ever need me to come back, I'm here.
Shout out your social media so they can follow you too.
Oh, child. I got a few of them, but I got professional ones, but for y'all, we can get y'all the person ones is Dr. Diamond 002, Dr. Diamond 002. Pretty much on Instagram. I really don't be on Facebook, and I'm still slow to TikTok. So, IG.
All right.
All right.